Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on where you're watching us from. As usual, leave us a message in the comments telling us where you're watching from, and thank you for your love and support. We love reading all the comments, so keep them coming. Okay, today we're talking about the brand Yukon, and what we're talking about in specific is Ring and Pinion. Okay, Yukon is an amazing brand. It's been around for quite a long time. If you haven't heard of it already, are you really into this off-road community? Maybe it's time. So we're happy to introduce it to you. Okay, so we're gonna talk about Jeeps in specific, but I guess it applies on other vehicles. I don't have enough experience to speak about that, but we're talking about Jeeps, Ring and Pinions. And today we're gonna talk about only 2 gear ratios. Now, I just wanna give a heads up, right? A disclaimer is that don't watch this video and think you know all about Ring and Pinion and then go do your thing depending on what I've said here, because I'm not going to talk about the nitty-gritty. When it comes to changing your Ring and Pinion, there is so much information and so much details you need to double check first before you just go and randomly change it, right? Because when you change your Ring and Pinion, you need to look at the model of the Jeep. Is it a JK? Is it a JL? Is it a Gladiator? What is it? Number one. Number two, the year. They're not all the same. Depending on the year of manufacturing of the vehicle, there are different sets of Ring and Pinions made for them. Yes, for example, we're going to talk about 2 gear ratios, which is 4.56 and 4.88. Just because it says 4.56 and it seems like it's the suitable gear ratio for your Jeep, doesn't mean that all 4.56 are the same. No. Because the ratio or the specification on each Jeep, each model, each year, Sport, Sahara, Rubicon, Gladiator, they're all different. So you need to make sure you know what you have first, and then you go and choose the compatible gear ratio for it. But we're now going to talk about vaguely the gear ratio, what we do, how we install, and what's recommended and what's not, okay? So let's get into it. Now here at Jeepers, we usually kind of only focus on 2 gear ratios because of the usage that we have in the country and the setup that we do here at Jeepers, right? So we've got mainly 4.56 and 4.88. If there's a gear ratio you specifically want to opt for, even if it's not what we recommend, but you choose to do it and you want that part, whether we install it or not, we can obviously source it for you and sell it to you. But we'll recommend what we believe is right for your setup, and then it's up to you to decide what you want to do with your car. It's your responsibility by the end of the day. Now, we're going to talk about 2 gear ratios, 4.56 and 4.88. This is what we usually use, and I'll explain where we use this and where we use that in a very vague manner. We're not talking very specified, very technical, okay? We're not doing technical talk today. So why we use 4.56 and there's 4.88, what's the difference? Obviously, now in general, the heavier the Jeep, the higher the ratio needed, okay? Now, what happens is when you get a stock Jeep, let's say a sports model, okay? A JL sport model 2023, whatever. You've taken that stock Jeep and you've modified it. Depending on the modifications you've done and how much heavier it's become, the tire size you've installed, the rim size you've installed, the bumpers you've installed, are they made of aluminium or are they made of steel? If they're made of steel, much heavier than the aluminium. So there is more power loss on the vehicle, right? And with that, you'll need a higher ratio. But doesn't mean just because I installed a steel front and rear bumper instead of aluminium, that means I need 4.88. No, because it's not about per item, but the total build. So vehicles that have a regular lift, wheels and tires, bumper changes, bits here and there, 4.56 is what we recommend, more than enough. Now, if we talk about a different setup, for example, let's take the Gladiator, the pickup truck. Already, it's a much heavier vehicle to begin with. And if you have that entire setup of camping, you've got the bed rack and a camping gear, owning showers and stuff like that, then no. And especially if you have massive tires, 37, 38 inch, 20 inch rims, you've added so much more load on the vehicle that you should opt for the 4.88 gear ratio. Now, if you have a Jeep and you want to install something you're not sure, feel free to message us on our Instagram DM or on our WhatsApp number or so, and then we'll happily guide you on what we recommend you to install. So if the vehicle is not too heavy and you're not towing, so if, let's say your Jeep itself isn't heavy, but you're regularly towing something really heavy in the back, like a proper trailer and stuff, 4.88. Otherwise, more commonly than anything else, we install 4.56. When you change the gear ratio on the vehicle, you don't change only one of them. So you actually have the ring and pinion in the back and in the front. You can't change one and keep the other, and vice versa. You have to change both. They both have to have the same gear ratio to work properly, right? You don't want to do something halfway and then you're impacting your vehicle into a worse mode than what it already was. So front and rear have to go hand in hand, change both of them. It's a very, very technical installation. Now, typically the box comes as such. Inside the box, you'll get the ring and pinion that has the front and rear ring and pinion. And then you'll also get the installation kit, okay? Now we have 4.56 and 4.88, both kits here. So installation kit and the ring and pinion itself, front and rear. When we install, you don't install and drive off. No. We remove the old one, we install the upgraded version, we finish, we make sure everything's as good and as perfect as possible. Then when the customer comes and collects, customer is guided on a specific way of driving. I'm going to talk vaguely about it. It's on the website actually, the instruction is all there. But generally you need to do a total of 800 kilometer driving post installation. No sudden acceleration, right? Very nice and very smooth. There are certain speed limits. The first 400 kilometers, the second 400 kilometers, not to exceed a certain speed, right? Make sure it's very nice, very smooth, very comfortable. And then once you're done with the total of 800 kilometer driving, you have to come back to the garage, right? And what they do is they change the oil in the casing, right? So we don't keep the same oil. We remove the old oil because you might have broken metal pieces and stuff from the break-in. So this process is called the break-in of the ring and pinion. You finish the break-in, bring it back, and we remove the old oil and replace it with new oil. Then you can drive as crazy as you want. Don't go too crazy, but then you can drive it regularly. You want to do sudden acceleration, you want to speed up, and so on, you can, right? Again, Yukon on their website, they have specific instructions on how to drive. The speed limit, in the beginning, you don't drive more than, I think it was 1 continuous hour. So you can do 1 continuous hour, then you have to let the car rest, right? If you don't follow the instructions, you're technically gonna damage a brand new modified piece that you've installed. And they're not the cheapest thing in the world. They're not like a few dollars here and there, right? You're investing in something worth every penny of investment, but you don't wanna just, oops, I broke it, or I didn't do it right, it's not worth it, right? Okay, so once you do that, so you've got the 4.56, 4.88, or whatever other gear ratio, depending on your setup, you install, you finish. That's what comes with the kit, typically. Now, there's an additional piece that is highly recommended. Is it a must? No. Is it highly advised and recommended? Yes. It is the covers of the gear, the ring and pinion, or the differential, okay? So it's right here. The original covers of the differential that you have in your vehicle or in the Jeep can still be used, it still fits. But what we keep in mind is when we're upgrading our ring and pinion, they are larger in size than the originals, right? So what happens is that the space around it within the casing itself is smaller now, it's less. So what happens is, if you keep the original casing with an upgraded ring and pinion, it has less space, And what happens is, A, you have less oil, and B, it starts to overheat with the spinning. When the ring and pinion is spinning, it creates more friction, more heat, less space. Not the greatest. Can you still use it? Yes. Is it the best to do? Not necessarily. So we do highly recommend, so we do have them available now, where you can change the casing itself. It comes into a bigger casing, bigger size, more capacity within, meaning more oil around the ring and pinion itself, and it helps with the cooling, right? So when the ring and pinion is spinning, it's not as hot, okay? That's very important to keep in mind. The casing, obviously in terms of durability and quality, is better than the original. It's much thicker, much durable. It's made of steel. It can withstand heavy off-roading and dune bashing. So you don't have to worry about it cracking if you go hardcore onto it. It can withstand it. It is really good quality. Essential, it's extra, it's additional, but highly recommended. So if you're gonna do all of this, you might as well just do this and do it the proper way. So ring and pinion, highly recommended. Depending on your setup, some setups don't need them. Other setups, you can go without them, but they don't drive as great as it could. And when you do these little upgrades, I say little, they might be a lot of upgrades in comparison to some people, but they give you a much better lifespan on the vehicle, much safer, and much, much, much better performance. So it makes a massive difference when you do it. Again, depending on your setup. If you've got 285 tires on 17-inch rims, you don't need to change anything. I mean, it's more of the simpler modification setups. But if you're going 37-inch tires, 38-inch tires with big rims and all of that, no, change it. Highly recommend. Let us know if you have any questions. As I said, as a disclaimer, don't just take this piece of information and go and apply it the way you think thinking that you already know what you're doing, because I haven't gone into the technical aspects of the setup, different models. It's not one size fits all. Every setup will require a different part number, okay? So yes, it's available at Yukon, but you don't just choose whatever because it says 4.56, I'll take it. Depending on the year, the model, and all of that information, the specifications are different, so they don't all fit. It needs to be compatible. And that's it for today. Let us know if you have any questions. If you need anything, you can always reach us through our landline number, WhatsApp, or Instagram, and we're quite active on those. If you don't already follow us on Instagram, what are you doing? Go and follow. Instagram handle here somewhere, right? And we'll see you in the next video. Enjoy your shopping until then.